Welcome all of you in this lecture session. Today I will discuss the generation of AC voltage or alternating voltage. So before going to details of generation of alternating voltage, we have to remember two laws which plays very important role for alternating voltage generation. These two laws are very common to electrical engineer. One is Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. So the law states that whenever the magnetic flux changes with respect to a conductor or a coil, an EMF is induced in the conductor or coil. Means there is a relative motion between the magnetic flux or the conductor. If this condition fulfilled, so you can generate AC voltage. Another law, that is Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. So Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction, this law provides that the how much amount of EMF is generated by this combination. So magnitude of the induced EMF in the conductor or a coil, which is directly proportional to the time rate of change of flux linkages, and it can be measured by this formula. E is equals to minus d psi by dt, where psi is basically represents that flux linkages, and psi, this flux linkages, which is equals to number of turns in the coil into the flux. So by using these expressions, we can measure the magnitude of the induced EMF. Now, according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, there is a condition required for the generation of AC voltage, that is relative motion between the magnetic flux and the conductor or the coil. So this is the first option, where the magnet is stationary and coil is rotating. So this is the permanent magnet which produce steady flux, and this is the stationary magnet and rotating coil. So this rectangular portions is basically represents that rotating coil, rectangular coil, and these two are basically represents that conductor of this coil. Now when this coil is rotating inside this steady magnetic flux, so the EMF induced in this conductor. Another way we can generate this AC voltage. That condition is just reverse. Here the magnet, this magnet is rotating, and this is the coil. These two are the coil, they are stationary. So again there is a change in flux between the conductor and the magnetic flux. So by using this, any one of this, either rotating magnet stationary coil or rotating coil stationary magnet, we can able to generate AC voltage. Now, how the AC voltage or alternating voltage generated? So that can be represented in that form. So that pink line, this line basically represents the steady flux, and that arrow indicates that the direction of the magnetic flux. For simplicity you can consider, so this is the north and this is south, and here we consider the rotating coil, and rotating coil is represented by the two sides, means the two conductor PQ and SR. and depending on the relative position of the conductor with respect to magnetic flux, we can show that how the EMF generated. Now you see the plane of the coil at the position 1, 3 and 5 is vertical. The sides of the coil are moving parallel to the magnetic flux, and here we consider that coil is moving in a clockwise direction. So they do not cut any flux. Therefore, voltage generated in this position, respective position 1, 3 and 5 is equals to 0. But when we consider the plane of the coil at the position 2 and position 4, that is plane of the coil is horizontal and the sides of the coil are moving perpendicular to the magnetic flux, and thus maximum flux is being cut and the EMF induced in the coil is maximum in these two positions. And if you notice that EMF induced in the position 2 and position 4, they are opposite in nature. If you see the coil positions, now in this case, in the position 2, PQ coil comes under the north pole, but in position 4, that PQ coil comes under the south pole. So due to that reasons, that polarity of the induced EMF is changes. So in that way, we can generate alternating voltage or the AC voltage by using any one of the principle, either rotating magnet, stationary coil, or rotating coil, stationary magnet. Now, after generation of the AC voltage, so again we have to know what is the magnitude of the induced EMF. So magnitude of the induced EMF can be find out by using the we will discuss the two consecutive method 1 and method 2. So that both are same, only that expression wise they are different, but the end equations are same for both the method. So here we consider a rectangular coil having n number of turns rotating in a uniform magnetic field. So these are the uniform magnetic field with angular velocity W in anticlockwise direction. That is the omega radian per second. Let, so here maximum flux is phi m. Now time we measured from the x-axis. In time t second, the coil rotates through an angle theta, which is equals to omega into t. In this deflected position, the component of the flux which is perpendicular to the plane of the coil, so it is equals to phi m cos theta, that is theta is basically represented by omega t, so that is phi m cos omega t, means this flux is responsible for the EMF generation. Now by using the expression of E equals to minus n d phi dt, now we have to replace phi by phi m cos omega t. Now we will get that if you derivative phi m cos omega t with respect to t, so that should be minus phi m sin omega t into omega, minus minus plus, so that expression is omega n phi m sin omega t. And it is generally represented as omega t. Instead of omega t, it is represented as theta, and this portion omega n into phi m, so that is basically represents that maximum value of the EMF when the theta is equals to 90 degree. When theta is equals to 90 degree, that EM is basically equals to W omega n phi m. So in that way you can find out that expression of the induced EMF. Okay. Another way you can able to find out the expression of alternating voltage or induced EMF by using the common formula of induced EMF is equals to BL into V, where again N is the number of turns and which is rotating in a magnetic field of flux density. Here we consider that flux density, that is B Weber per meter square, and again we consider that length of the each side of the coil is equals to L meters, and their peripheral velocity, which is represented by this V meter per second. Again we'll measure the angle from the horizontal position, that is from the x-axis. When in horizontal position, the two sides of the coil moving parallel to the lines of the magnetic flux, hence no flux is cut, and so EMF is no EMF is generated in the coil. But when the coil turned through on some angle, that is theta, its velocity can be resolved into two components, and that velocity of the component which is responsible for the EMF generations, that is basically equals to V sin theta, which is responsible for the EMF generation. Now by using this expression, that EMF generated in one side of the coils, mind that this is one side of the coil, which is one side of the coil having n number of turns. So according to the well-known formula of BLV, if you represent V by V sin theta, and B and L are the usual nomenclature, and N if the coil having n number of turns, so that should be multiplied by N. If the coil having single turns, so for that case this is simply BLV sin theta. But for general expressions, we consider that EMF generated in one side of the coil is equals to N into BLV sin theta. Similarly, total EMF generated in both sides of the coil, both sides of the one coil is basically consist of the two conductor, two sides. So in these two sides number of conductor is 2n, so that is total EMF generated in both sides of the coil, which is equals to B L V sin theta into 2 into n, and that again that 2BLV, which is represents that maximum value of the EMF in the condition when theta is equals to 90 degrees. So that EM is basically the maximum value of the induced EMF. So by using any one of the expressions, so we can able to find out what is the magnitude of the induced EMF. So in this way we can generate the single phase AC voltage. So mind that you have to keep in mind that Faraday's first law of electromagnetic inductions, in this law, according to this law, there is a relative motions always for EMF generation, alternating EMF generations, always you have to record that relative motions between the conductor and the magnetic flux. Okay, I think it will clear all of you. If you have any questions or any query, you can simply ask or simply put a mail. That mail ID is given in the front slide.